It's the arrest that has made questioning what went wrong during this traffic stop. How did a shouting match between this driver, Sandra Bland, and the DPS trooper you see there, Brian Encenia, escalate so quickly? Bland was arrested on charges of assaulting an officer. And then 3 days later, she was found hanged in her jail cell. And so while that part of the case is controversial because the family doesn't think it played out that way, we do know it starts out with this encounter, and it starts out with the arrest. So for a different perspective, we asked retired APD Officer Dennis Ferris to join us in studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I talked to you yesterday over the phone in length about this because I know you watched the dash cam video that so many of us have watched. So I guess my first question to you is, did Trooper Encenia have the legal authority to detain her, to take her into custody?
Well, he had the authority when he stopped her for the traffic stop. What a lot of people don't realize is that is what's considered a non-custodial arrest.
Okay.
And basically a traffic stop, you're detained, which means you're not free to go. And you receive the citation in lieu of going to jail, basically. It's like a field release citation. That's what a traffic citation is. So yes, he did have the right to stop her. You know, when he walked up to the car to give her the ticket and she was smoking, and he asked her to put the cigarette out, that's where things start going downhill. Okay,
I'm going to ask you about that in a little bit, but let's back up here for a second. When does a police officer have the right to forcefully remove you from the vehicle? You know, what if I'm just having a bad day and I'm rude to you? Does that give you the right to remove me from my vehicle?
No, it doesn't give you, just because you're being rude to the officer doesn't give the officer the right to remove you from the vehicle. The officer has the right to ask you to get out of the vehicle when there is he has a reasonable suspicion of something else in the vehicle, or, you know, there's a fear, there could be a fear of something. He has the right to ask you to get out of the vehicle, and at that point, he's giving you a lawful order, and you're supposed to.
I'm supposed to get out.
You're supposed to get out of the car.
Okay. The cigarette. Okay. I want you to listen to what maybe you listened to yesterday of him asking her to put out her cigarette.
You mind putting out your cigarette, please? Don't mind.
I'm in my car, but I have to put out my cigarette.
Well, you can step on out now.
I don't have to step out of my car.
Step out of the car.
Okay, Dennis, so that request asking Bland to put out her cigarette escalated quickly after that you mentioned. So is it just, you know, a courtesy? Hey, driver, put out your cigarette. Or when you tell me to do so, do I have to do it?
You know, it's a courtesy. Inside the car, you know, if I ask you to put your cigarette out, you know, it can be a courtesy just to simply put it out. There are some people, you know, cigarette smoke bothers them. Some people are allergic to cigarette smoke. I personally don't like cigarette smoke. But if a person's sitting in the car, I'm not necessarily going to ask them if they're in the car to put out their cigarette. I might ask them if they're standing out and we're going one-on-one to put the cigarette out. Of course, you know, cigarettes can be used as a weapon also, basically. You can get burned by somebody with a cigarette can burn you. And I don't know whether you've ever been burned by a cigarette, but it's a pretty nasty burn.
Right. You actually found yourself in some kind of situation like this early on in your career. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, but I was in the wrong. I mean, I'll admit I was in the wrong. This was, I was 25 years old. I'd been a police officer about 2 years. I pulled a gentleman over on the University of Texas campus. That's where I was an officer at the time.
Right.
And things got exactly almost the same situation.
Out of hand.
Out of hand.
Yeah.
You know, he started yelling. Of course, I started yelling back. Things escalated. Asked him to step out of the car. He stepped out of the car, and the next thing you know, we're rolling around the intersection of 21st and Speedway for basically no reason.
In the middle of the street.
And it was my fault. I mean, I freely admit it was my fault.
Was it this trooper's fault? Did he escalate it? Should he have de-escalated?
Yes, I think both parties could have de-escalated this at any point in time. Yeah, it's up to the officer to keep control of the situation, and in this instance, when she started escalating things, he escalated them right along with them, where he should have taken a step back and de-escalated it.
Okay, we appreciate your view on this so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For your time. Let's head over